जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल 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 जय जय
राधा रमण हरि गोविंद 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 जय जय
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol,
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Gaura Premanandi, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. It's a pleasure to be here in Trinidad at the Mandir. Thank you very much for inviting us. Very kind. And a pleasure to be here and share our experience in Krishna consciousness with all of you. But today I wanted to speak on one text from Bhagavad Gita in the 9th chapter, text number 14, very famous statement by Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. Satatam kirtayanto mam tantascha bridhavataha namayantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Translation. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Everyone can please repeat. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Now, who are these great souls? Just before we read the purport, Krishna says, previous verse, Mahatmanas tumam artam daivi prakritim ashritaha. These are the Mahatmas. So we hear many times, in India especially, the term Mahatma, mostly associated with Mahatma Gandhi. But as many sadhus in India say, that Mahatma Gandhi was a saint among politicians and a politician among saints. So certainly a great personality. But here we're speaking of a different level of Mahatma. So Srila Prabhupada states that the Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has no other business. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising His holy name, His eternal form, His transcendental qualities, his uncommon pastimes. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahma Jyoti, is not described as Mahatma in Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of devotional service, as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing, chanting about Vishnu, not a demigod or human being. That is devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and Shmaranam, remembering him. Such a Mahatma has firm devotion to achieve at the ultimate end the association of the Supreme Lord in any one of 5 transcendental rasas. To achieve that success, he engages all activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, everything, in the service of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That is called full Krishna consciousness. In devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world. The Mahatmas, or great souls, strictly observe all these rules and regulations, and therefore they are sure to achieve the desired result. As described in the 2nd verse of this chapter, not only is this devotional service easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood. One does not need to undergo any severe penance or austerity. He can live this life in devotional service, guided by an expert spiritual master, and in any position, either as a householder, or a sannyasi, or a brahmachari. In any position and anywhere in the world, he can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus become actually a Mahatma, a great soul. Om Jnanatimanandasya Ganam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Daratishva Parantipam. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada says, in the next verse, it describes others who are not Mahatmas. So I'll just read that, just so we understand who they are. Because they're also great personalities, sadhus, saintly persons. In the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Purana, it says, there are 2 types of transcendentalists, and both of them have the same common goal, which is to transcend this material existence. That is the goal. Anywhere you read in the Vedas, anywhere you refer to it, there are intermediate destinations. Just like sometimes we travel to India, and if you travel from Trinidad to India, you have to go to an intermediate destination, because they don't have enough fuel to get all the way to India. So if we don't have enough spiritual fuel to get all the way to Vaikuntha, to the spiritual realm, or at least to Brahma Jyoti, this supreme spiritual energy, then there are intermediate destinations, heavenly planets, better life on this planet. You get a better life. Or if you're a yogi, a great yogi, or a great tapasvi, then you can reach Tapaloka or Jnanaloka, or many different destinations. That Siddhaloka. These are higher planetary systems where we can enjoy, or Gandharvaloka, where you can enjoy beautiful singing, beautiful relationship, beautiful women, beautiful men, everything's very beautiful. There was one very pious man. He was actually a Brahmin, but his family was from a very poor caste of Brahmins. This is related in the Mahabharata. So, this man, every day he would go out, and he was working for one great agriculturalist. And so he was picking grain. He was harvesting grains. And he could keep all the grains that had fallen on the ground, he could keep for himself. And that was quite a bit. So every day he would have a big sack of grains to take home. But he was so pious and so Brahminical that on the way home, every sadhu, every saintly person, every poor person that he saw, he would distribute a little grain. So by the time he got home, he had a little handful of grain, for his family. So his wife was always complaining, why don't you, bring everything home? Why are you so generous? Why are you doing this? I can't help it, it's my nature. And so every day he did this, even though his wife would complain, even though his family would complain. But he thought, everything in this world is temporary. Let me serve that which is not temporary. That was his mantra. So one day he was returning and distributing grains to the sadhus, and all of a sudden a chariot, divine, celestial chariot descended from the sky, and a very luminous personality from the planets of the demigods, of the devas, said, you have performed so many pious activities that you are being promoted to the heavenly planets, Indraloka, Chandraloka. You take your pick. No. And he said, that sounds very nice, but I just have one question. If I go there, is that the final destination? Is that eternal? Is that permanent? And he said, well, it's almost permanent. So long. You can live there for millions of years and enjoy. No disease, no problems, no politics. Well, there's little politics also in the celestial world. Not much, a little bit. Sometimes there's some politics. But nothing like here. Not like people grab each other on the other side of the table and start fighting over political ideas. Not that they're killing one another. So he said, yes, but that means that sometime you have to return, because he knew Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, a little later on in this chapter, Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti, that after one has exhausted one's pious activities, just like a bank account. If you have a bank account and you spend it and you don't put more in, then eventually you go broke. So he knew that, and he was asking this question. So I said, no, but that's so far off. It's not due to consideration, and you'll never get sick. In the heavenly planets, when time comes to leave, you just die. And he said, yes, but it is said that one will have to return here. Yes, but then one can perform more sacrifices like you're doing, and you can come right back. No problem. Just like sometimes, if you're in another country, you have to leave and renew your visa. So he was saying like that. So he said, thank you very much, but I think that I want eternal benefit, permanent benefit. As it says in the Bhagavad Purana, that jigyasu shreya uttamam, that an intelligent person approaches a bona fide spiritual master, bona fide guru, to get jigyasu shreya uttamam, that knowledge which leads to the highest benefit, eternal and permanent benefit. So they said, thank you very much, but I that's what I want. They said, oh, how can you be so foolish? How can you turn that? Thank you. So they left, thinking, well, what a fool. It's such an opportunity. So And he kept going, and he was praying to Vishnu, please let me only serve you. You are the eternal spiritual guide for all universes, for all existence. And then sometime later another chariot came, but this one was from Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. And they said, please come. He said, yes, of course. And he left this world. So, in the next text, Krishna says, others, those who are not Mahatmas, who engage in sacrifice by cultivation of knowledge, worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second, as diverse in many, and in the universal form. So they are very sincere persons, at least some of them. And they will get the benefit of their worship. But that benefit will ultimately, even if they worship the Supreme Brahman, the destination of those who worship the energy of the Supreme, or the Supreme as energy, as light, as it says, Patantyado Nadvita Yusmaran Graha. Bhagavad Purana also says, yes, that after many, many difficulties and sacrifices, Kritrena, they param tata, they achieve that supreme energy, Brahmajyoti. But then again they will have to return because they have not attained the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So in this particular text of Bhagavad Gita that we read, Krishna says, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, Namayas Chamam. He says 2 times, Mam, me, no, to me. They glorify me, they worship me. No. So he's emphasizing that this is something done for me. At the very end of this chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Manmano Pavamad Bhakto Mam Yaji Mam Namaskaru Mam Ivaishasi Yuktaivam Atmanam Parayanaha. He says again, Mam, Mam, Mam. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, become united with me. No. Follow that which I have given you in this Bhagavad Gita and in other places, Uddhava Gita. No. So many places Krishna has given this transcendental knowledge of the supreme destination. No. But many times we're so absorbed in this world in different ways, working to maintain family, body, friends, society. That's on the mundane level. Then on a little higher level, we worship different personalities, greater personalities than ourselves, for attaining some blessing, some benediction, some benefit. Different levels of understanding, of effort. But all of these things, they have a consequence. And the only thing that doesn't have a consequence, that has it has a consequence, but the supreme consequence, which never directs us or causes us to return to this world, according to Bhagavad Gita, is worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which Krishna himself is emphasizing here. So, when Lord Shiva was speaking to Parvati in the Gita Mahatmya, and he spoke about this chapter, the glories, the wonders, if we follow just this one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Just one chapter. He said there is a benefit. So Lord Shiva told a story. He said one time there was a Brahmin named Madhava. And this Brahmin, his son was very ill, very sick. And he was almost dying. So some other Brahmins recommended to him, you sacrifice one goat. And by sacrificing that goat, your child will be cured. My child will be cured? Yes, let me do this. So he was preparing the goat, cleaning the goat, and then the goat started laughing and said, you're a fool. So everybody, the goat's talking, What kind of a goat is this? So they all gathered around the goat. And he said, the goat said, you think that you will save your child by making my children fatherless. This is not a very good proposition. So he was actually speaking the law of karma. He's warning him, don't be so foolish. And so everyone said, my dear goat, where did you get this knowledge? How can you speak? How do you have this ability? What was your past life? So the goat said, yes, in my past life I was also a Brahmin. And I was also performing many sacrifices. And because of those sacrifices, I killed many goats and I took the body of a goat. But because of my pious activities and my devotion to the Lord, I was given the ability to remember my past life. So now I'm warning you. I'm warning you, please be careful. Because this world of karma and karma kanda, activities which bring about temporary material benefits, is very dangerous. And then the goat told the story. He said one time there was a great king named Chandrasharma. This great king, Chandrasharma, he was very charitable. So he wanted to give charity to the Brahmins, and he gave some gold, and he gave other things. And then part of that charity, he gave one Shudra for a laborer. And the Shudra was, when he was given to the Brahmin, all of a sudden out of his body appeared a very fearful personality and jumped into the body of the Brahmin. And then another very fearful female personality came out and went into the body of the Brahmin. But the Brahmin was completely peaceful and unperturbed, and he was chanting mantras. So the king said, my dear Brahmin, who are these personalities and how have you maintained them? And the Brahmin was chanting and chanting and chanting. He was chanting the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And those two personalities were thrown out of his body. And the king said, how did you do that? He said, I am chanting the Bhagavad Gita, which is supremely pure and most wonderful and most beautiful. And if you do so, you will also be benefited. And the king said, who were those personalities? And he said, the male was sin personified, and the female was offenses personified. He said, these are what enter into our hearts when we do not understand the real purpose of life. Inevitably, we will be engaged in sinful activities. Inevitably, we will commit offenses out of envy of other living entities. And we will cause them so much distress, and then the reaction will come upon us. And this sin and these offenses will haunt us life after life, birth after birth. But if we take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, by hearing his instructions and following them, then everything will be relieved. And then the goat concluded by saying, and after that the Brahmin and the king, they chanted this 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and they attained the lotus feet of Govinda. And after that, the Brahmin Madhava, he also started chanting, and he attained the lotus feet of Govinda. So here, Krishna is telling us that these are the activities of this age. Especially in this age, as many of you know, and many people ask us, why are we always chanting Hare Krishna? Because this is the recommended process in this age. In this age, the Vedas are always valid. And in the Vedas, there are so many recommendations of you can do this, you can do that, you can perform sacrifices, you can perform austerities, you can perform penances, you can do so many things. The Vedas are so many things. We were discussing this today in the morning, that the Shastras, or the Vedas, or the Scriptures are like a map. It's like a map. But on any map you have so many different roads. Even in Trinidad, it's a small island, but still there are many roads. You can go from one place to another directly, or you can take a roundabout way. So, it is recommended that one take instruction from Guru, Shastri, Sadhu. The Shastra is like a map, and the Sadhu and the Guru, they tell us what is the best route. There are so many routes. And some routes take us to our destination, and some routes, unfortunately, take us to another place. It's like sometimes people may be driving, they get lost, and many times we go to a program, and somebody doesn't know exactly how to get there, and we're wandering around the hills of Trinidad, trying to find the place. So, there's one quotation, Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lakta Beach. That we have been wandering and wandering around in this universe. Just like sometimes we're looking for some place, we're driving around in the car looking at the address. Is this the right house? Go around the block 2 or 3 times. Try to find the right place. So this is what every living entity is doing. We're going around and around and around throughout this universe, even in other universes, taking one body after another. What are we looking for? Patipadam pradamitas vadanam. At every step, there is only one source of happiness. That source is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Previously, in this chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 4th verse that Mayam dadamitam sarvam, that I am all pervading. But because I am all pervading, avyakta murtina, that I cannot be seen with ordinary eyes, with ordinary vision, with ordinary consciousness within this world. Therefore, generally speaking, we dedicate ourselves to something which is more tangible for us, something material. We dedicate ourselves to family, friends, society, and this becomes the main goal of life. But even a few verses after this one, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says something very interesting, that I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas. And later on, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am the goal of all Vedas. I am the goal of everything. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I am the compiler of the Vedas. I am the knower of the Vedas. So, and the Vedas direct everyone to me. And if we put all of these things together, Krishna says, I am the father, the mother, the support. So Srila Prabhupada explains in relation to that verse, everyone feels so much love for their mother, for their father, for their children, for their friends, for their parents, for their relatives. Because we can see this connection. But that love is actually just a step. That what we're feeling, what we're actually looking for, is the love that eternally exists between Krishna and the living entity, between ourselves and the Supreme Lord. That's what we're looking for. We're not, but because we don't know Krishna, we find someone else. And then above all these family and friends, there are the Devas. And above the Devas, there is the Brahman, the eternal, the supreme energy of the Lord. But as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmanohi Pratishtaham, I am the source of that Brahman. It comes from me. I am its support. I am its source. And beyond that is Paramatma, Krishna, Vishnu within the heart. And beyond that, there is Krishna in this beautiful form as Shyam Sundar, holding his flute, like we see here, playing so many beautiful things. And from that flute comes so many beautiful songs. And from that flute comes the Vedas. And from that flute comes all knowledge. From that flute comes all knowledge and everything. But Krishna says that Matstani Sarvabhutani, All living entities depend on me. But na chaham te svavastitaha. But I don't depend on them. No. They depend on me. I don't depend on them. However, I love them. No. I want them to get my shelter. And therefore I speak this transcendental knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I speak so many things. And my devotees and my worshippers and my followers, they speak so many other things. Sri Narada Muni, all the great sages that we see in Vedic science. They may be glorifying different personalities, but ultimately all of them, and the greatest of all personalities within this universe, Lord Shiva, he is also glorifying Sankarshan. So, Krishna is saying here that he is the goal. And just a few verses previous to this one, in verse number 10, Krishna says, Maya dakshena prakriti, Maya prakriti, what is it? Maya dakshena prakriti, suyate sa characharam. That I am supervising this whole universe. But how is Krishna supervising the universe? All of us have seen the form of Mahavishnu. No? And what is Mahavishnu doing? He is sleeping. And he's dreaming. And in his dream, he maintains unlimited universes. But when Krishna is awake, playing his flute, what is he doing? He is having loving exchanges and interactions with his devotees. He is giving them unlimited pleasure, unlimited knowledge, unlimited bliss, and eternality. And that is what he's interested in. He is awake in those activities. And therefore he says, everyone is within me, but I am not within them. And actually, in another sense, everyone is not within me, but they are within my energies. Otherwise, as long as we try to exist within this world and enjoy this world, yes, we are within Krishna, within his energy. But if we want to be personally with him, then we have to, this is what we have to do. That we have to worship him by kirtan, by glorification, by chanting, especially in this age, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if we do this, as Krishna says at the end of this chapter, surely, without any doubt, we will come to him. We will be situated in him. And we will be fully happy and satisfied. And everything will be achieved. And even as Krishna also says here in the ninth chapter, which is a very beautiful chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Yogakshemam vahamyaham, that if someone dedicates themselves to me fully and without any deviation, then I will supply them everything they need, and I will preserve everything they have. Now we can't misinterpret that and think, well, everything I need, well, I need Mercedes, and I need, about 5 million TT would do nicely, and no. What do we need? Krishna's talking about the soul. What does the soul need? No. What does the soul need? Bhakti. No. Kirtan. And what does preserve what we have? Otherwise, whatever devotion, whatever we achieve, Krishna says, whatever you have, whatever you achieved in the level of bhakti, that will never be taken away. No, I guarantee that. I will preserve that. But if we don't cultivate it daily, by chanting this Maha Mantra, by dedicating ourselves to worshipping the Supreme, with our mind, body, and words, then it may be preserved in an account, but we may not have access to that account. Like sometimes people leave in their will, they say, yes, you can have this money after you're 50 years old. There's a 25-year-old young man, young lady, I think, all this money, enjoy. Let me go to Europe, let me go there, let me go to India, let me go to everywhere and spend it all. Actually, in the U.S., they've taken a census, and the majority of people who have won the lottery, millions and millions of U.S. dollars, they usually lose it within 1 year. So, Krishna says, I will preserve what is the nature of the soul, what is the property of the soul. But I'm not going to preserve necessarily something that's not beneficial for you. Just like a good father or mother. The children may desire and want so many things, but the father and the mother, out of love, they give the child what the child needs. So here Krishna is giving us what we need. And what do we need? Satatam kirtayanto mam. Always be engaged in glorifying Him. Yatantashtadidha prataha. And do it with great determination. Not every once in a while. Not on Sunday, or not on Janmashtami only. Or not on this day or that day. Or not whenever I need something. Or not whenever I'm in distress. But at every moment. And if we do that with great determination, namayantas chamam bhaktya, and understanding that it should be dedicated to Him with great devotion, then nityayukta upasate, we will be eternally engaged in that activity, bhakti, which is natural for the soul. So this is Krishna's humble petition. If you do this, I will give you everything. Not because I need this. Krishna says later on in 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Patram pushpam palam toyam. You can offer me water, flower, fruit, or a leaf, which is very easy to get in Trinidad. So much water, 8 months out of the year it's raining. So many leaves, so many fruits, so many flowers. You can offer me just this, but offer it with sincerity, with love and devotion and sincerity. But if you have more than that, you can also offer that. Not just, okay, I'll offer Krishna a leaf every day. And then I'll comply. No. It means that even if that's all you have, you can offer that with love and devotion, I'll accept it. But if you have more, you should offer everything. So then someone may complain, well, does that mean that, that we all should become sannyasis? Offer everything, I don't have anything. No. Because none of us have anything anyway. We're simply in charge of something for some time. Even in the Christian Bible it says, from dust you came and to dust you will return. Otherwise you can't take anything with you. Just like the Egyptian pharaohs, they would put, all kinds of gold and everything in the, thinking that, after you die you can enjoy this. Even sometimes I've seen people are buried. I presided over some funerals of Christian people. They asked me to do it, so I did it. And I saw people putting things in the casket. Some boots or some bottle of liquor. I said, this is no good. What you should put in there is your prayers. Not some material objects. So the point is that we should understand that Krishna doesn't need anything. And the only thing He wants is our attention, our consciousness that it be focused on Him. Because ultimately we don't have anything anyway. Who has something? Who can guarantee that whatever I have in the bank or my material possessions or my own body, that I can preserve it, I can control it? Who can make that claim? We may think that way, but at any moment it can be taken away. So we've all seen that. And therefore, Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he was asked by Yamaraj, what is the most wonderful thing in this world? The most amazing thing? And he said, the most amazing thing is that my grandfather has died, my great-grandfather has died, my father is dying, but I'm thinking, I'm living my life as if I will never die. Otherwise, I'm not dedicating myself to that which is most important, to the cultivation of the soul, to to the advancement of the soul, to the connection of the soul with the Supreme, which is the actual purpose of life. So Krishna is telling us here how to do that in a very simple, easy way. As Srila Prabhupada said, it's easy and it's happily performed, referring to the beginning of this chapter. Susukam kartam abhyayam. It's eternal, it's full of happiness and bliss, and it's easy to do. No difficulty. So therefore, we should take Krishna's words very seriously and make our lives, even now, in the midst of so many difficulties that we face, even the difficulty of maintaining our lives, our body, our family, it will all become a wonderful offering to the Supreme and give us real permanent happiness, which will increase day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, and at the end we will go back home, back to God. That will be the result. So I'll stop here. So a few words that I wanted to say today. Are there any questions or any comments from any of you? Yes, from the Hari Prabhu. Go to Brahma Loka? Yeah, you mean Brahma Loka by Brahma Jyoti or by the planet of Brahma? Oh yes, you definitely have to. You don't definitely have to come back, because Brahma Loka is one place where one can actually be elevated. But even Brahma himself, generally speaking, he comes back. Sometimes Brahma is elevated. It's stated in the Bhagavad Purana. Sometimes Brahma is elevated to the platform of Mahavishnu. But because Mahavishnu is within the material universe, then because Brahma is very intelligent, but sometimes he misses the full goal, then he comes back to this material world. So even in the position of Brahma, what to speak of being on his planet? But because in Brahma Loka, Brahma also has knowledge of the Supreme, there is a very good chance that from Tapa Loka, from Mahar Loka, from Siddha Loka, then one can actually be elevated by the yoga process. But that takes a long time. Millions and millions of years on those planets, doing austerities and penances. And here, what do we have to do? Chant the holy name of Krishna, dance, take prasadam. And in 40, 50 years, or in 1 year, or in one moment, like Katwanga Maharaj in one moment achieved perfection by fully concentrating his mind. Or a Jamil, he lived a sinful life, but then when he chanted the name of the Lord without offenses, he was given the opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. In 1 second, one name. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that a Vaishnava is a person who chants the holy name once. Meaning, if you chant once without offenses, you immediately become a Vaishnava. Meaning, you become a fully capable Vaishnava, just by chanting once without offenses. So therefore, every day if we chant the Mahamantra, trying to fully concentrate on each word, each syllable, then Krishna will manifest in our hearts and our minds, and his pastimes, his qualities, his forms will appear before us and become the very object of our existence. Any other question? Yes. Mm-hmm. To use Bhagavad Gita to fulfill one's desires, meaning material desires. Yeah. No, it depends on how you want to look at it. No. If Krishna accepts, even if we have some material desire, as it says also in Srimad Bhagavatam, that akama sarvakama va moksha kama udaradi tibrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha puram. that even if one has many desires to enjoy this world, or one wants to be liberated from this world into the Brahman, or one dedicates oneself to the Supreme Lord, in any condition, one should, with great determination, perform bhakti yoga, and then they will achieve the result. So, yes, if one does it sincerely, with the desire to please Krishna, but I still have some desires I want to satisfy, yes, it's not offensive. But if you do it only without even recognizing the existence of Krishna, there's some benefit, but there's also some negligence. And that negligence may cause us to lose the real benefit, and may curtail our advancement. So better if we even have, everybody has material desires, otherwise we wouldn't be here. If you don't have any material desires, there's only two things to do. Leave this world, or teach others how to leave this world. If you have no material desires, otherwise what are you doing here? This is the purpose of this world is to fulfill material desires and ultimately understand that this is not the goal of life. So, if one has desires, which we all have, if we at least understand that these desires are temporary, and we pray to Krishna, please help me to become free from these desires, then He will help us satisfy some of our desires, but in such a way that it will bring us closer to Him. And if we're too attached to those desires, then Krishna says, well, you don't want me. You want Durga. No? You want Maya. So I will ask her to take charge. And you can worship her. You're already worshiping her. Once we worship this world, or the objects of this world. And what is worship? Krishna describes worship in the previously in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that you should be very careful to what you dedicate yourself. He says that in the 7th chapter. Yo yam 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 tanum bhakya shradhayarchitumachiti tasya tasya charam shradha. Whatever you put your faith in, wherever you direct your consciousness, I will give you faith. If you direct your consciousness to the devas, I will give you faith in the devas. But if you direct your consciousness to me, I will give you faith in me. And if you direct your consciousness to money and material objects, I will give you faith in them. If you direct your consciousness to material science and think that is the ultimate goal, and they have all the answers, I will give you faith in that. So everything depends on how we direct our consciousness. And what is our motive when we do it. If our motive is material benefit, then that's what we'll get. Even from pious activities, sacrifices, benefit, and even from bhakti. At the highest you can get, if you have selfish desires or self-centered desires, even through bhakti, the highest you can get is liberation from the material world. But you will not get Vaikuntha. Only when you become free from self-consideration, then you can achieve Vaikuntha, then you can achieve Goloka. Any other question? Yes. Yeah. Oh, everybody's doing it. No? Just read the newspaper. No? Everyone's serving Maya. Serving Maya means Durga. Durga is the superintendent of this material nature. No? So we see in India, even here in Trinidad, many people worshipping Durga because they want something material. No? So that's called serving Maya. And Maya will give us something material, but she will also give us the concomitant or the resultant reaction, the karma that comes from that, which will keep us coming back to this material existence. But some people, I don't mind that. I don't mind coming back. But the problem is, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that the problem with karma is it's very difficult to, the intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand. So even if we do sacrifices and austerities and penances, we will also be doing other things, even unknowingly, which affect other living entities in an adverse way. Just like if you do business, and everybody has to do some business to maintain themselves. But business means I have to exploit someone, either one individual or many individuals. And that exploitation has a karmic result. So even though I may be pious and do many nice things, I'll get good results from those nice things. I help people, I give charity. But from my exploitative activities, I will get another type of karma. So then I'll have some what we call good karma, meaning something that will give me favorable material circumstances, but I'm also generating some negative karma, which will give me some problems, some difficulties, some anxiety. But bhakti is akarma. Otherwise, worshipping Krishna, worshipping the Supreme, is free from karma. So if we keep ourselves engaged in that service, as Krishna recommends here also in Bhagavad Gita, yad karoshi yarashnasi, everything you do, everything you eat, yat johosi tadasi yat, all charity and sacrifices, tat karush vamararpanam, all austerities, if you do everything within my service, meaning you dedicate it to me, then you will come back to me. I will give you that benefit. So that's what we should try to do. We should strive to learn, as Krishna tells us here, how to do it. Always speak about me, think about me, hear me, and with everything you do, make sure you do it for me, as I am the ultimate goal. Just like I give the example, someone is working, they have a picture of their family in their wallet, on their desk or something. So they're working, but they're thinking, this is for my family. Otherwise, I'm going through this drudgery of, dealing with pounds and shillings, dollars, or whatever, TT, all day long, working hard. But the benefit is for my family. I'm doing it for them. So if we take it to another level, everything I'm doing, even though it may be difficult, whatever, but I'm doing it to offer to Krishna, then there's no karma. But we can't do it in an imaginary way. We can't just think, yes, I declare that this is for Krishna. And then it becomes, it has to be according to Krishna's instructions. Just like if you work in a company, you can't say, yeah, I'm working in this company, but I think I don't like coming in at 8 in the morning. I'm going to come at 11. And I don't like to do this. I'm only going to do this. No, we can't do that. No one will hire us, and no one will keep us working. If you manufacture your own conditions, you have to take the conditions of the employer. So we have to take the conditions that Krishna gives us in Bhagavad Gita. And then our bhakti will be complete and perfect. That's why he spoke Bhagavad Gita. Not that we ignore it, or that we take one little part. I like this verse, very nice. I like this one over here. But this one, surrender everything to me. No, I don't like that so much. No. Let's leave that out. Any other question? Adi? Yeah, you're hard of speaking, I'm hard of hearing, so bad combination. No?
Repeat question for argument's sake. Suppose a person decides, let it take start. In the younger time of my life, I will worship Durga, and later on, when I have acquired, I will worship Krishna. Or parallel with it, I will worship both of them. I will take what I get here, and give it to Krishna. So I'll be scoring on both fronts.
Yes. Question is, what if somebody says, well, I'll worship Durga all my life, and then at the end I'll worship Krishna? Or even more, a little more surrendered, I'll worship both of them. No. Actually, there's no problem to worship Durga if we worship Durga as the servant of Krishna. And we offer what Durga gives us to Krishna. Actually, every devotee of Krishna is worshipping Durga, is worshipping Shiva, is worshipping all the devas. No, they're respecting all the devas. But Krishna says, in this age we have such a short life, mayaiva vihitam hitam. Ultimately, I'm giving all those things to the devas anyway. So why don't you just come directly to me? You're only going to live, 70, 80 years, 90 years, 60 years. And as Prahlad Maharaj says, out of those years, you sleep 6-8 hours a day, you eat 2-3 hours a day, you work 8 hours a day, 6 hours, so you work some time. So that's like 18 hours, I only have 6 hours left over, and there's my television, I have my, Facebook, and, So how much time is there for Krishna? So therefore, even just maintaining this body takes up 15, 16 hours a day. So if we're very sincere, we can use the other 8 hours for Krishna. And usually we get a little distracted, a little Facebook, little internet, little television, little movie, and those are pious people. Not so pious people, we won't even mention what they do. And so it's not such a good proposition to try to divide it up like that. We don't have so much time. In previous ages, people would worship the devas, and then they would worship different devas to elevate themselves and get different types of benefits. They had very long lives. But in this age, we have very short life. So, even 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya, they would worship different devas, but the purpose was always to worship Krishna. Even the gopis, they worshiped Durga, in the form of Katyayani, to get Krishna as a husband. But because their only desire was to have Krishna, then that worship of Katyayani was considered to be pious, it was acceptable. But the problem is we get distracted. Srila Prabhupada was walking in San Francisco in the park, and he saw some people practicing yoga. So a devotee asked, so Prabhupada, can we also practice yoga for health, for, different benefits? Prabhupada said, the problem is that you may get distracted. Otherwise, if you start doing these things, then you'll spend so much time on the body, and then you'll spend so much time on this, and then when will you worship Krishna? So therefore, Prabhupada said, better just to worship Krishna. Of course, we have to want to do some yoga, some exercise to keep the body fit, But we have to be very careful not to get carried away. And even when we're doing that, we think, I am doing this so that my body will be healthy and strong to serve Krishna. And then everything becomes bhakti, becomes a part of bhakti. So even if someone is very determined to worship Durga, Shiva, or someone else, Ganesh, then they have to understand that the only purpose is to please Krishna. And if you understand that, then Krishna is giving you direct access anyway. Just like in business, Guranga Hari can confirm this. If I can avoid the middleman, then I get more benefit. If I go through the middleman, I have to pay a little more. So once I discover the source, then forget about the middleman. So this is what Krishna is saying. You have such a short lifetime, why go through the middleman? Come directly to me. I'm giving you that possibility now. You can come to me. So anyway, I think we can stop here. Thank you all very much for your attention, for coming. And please always take this Bhagavad Gita and chanting of the holy names of Krishna very seriously, and Krishna will give us everything we need. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj ki. On behalf of the devotees in Felicity, we would like to thank Maharaj for coming and enlightening us Bhagavad Gita. Tomorrow, His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami in the morning will be giving Bhagavatam class at Londonville Temple, And in the evening time will be Bhagavad Gita class. And on Saturday, there will be Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning, and in the evening time, at Kanta Prabhu's house, there will be a gathering of all the disciples, aspiring disciples, and those who are taking shelter of Maharaj. We'll be having a program at Kanta Prabhu's house. And we'll keep you in. And on Sunday will be Sunday evening program in Londonville Temple. So all devotees are invited. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki